Hello, future people. Welcome to Getting Tabled. I'm Jason the Bruce, and today it's time to get your hats off. We're going back into Malifaux. Truth be told, I don't know if there was ever actually an official name for these types of boxes, but they're doing quite a lot of these over the last 12 months, which are basically old existing leaders with updated models and new rules to go along with them to kind of play them a little differently. It's, as far as I can tell, gone really successfully. This box in particular has Som'er Jones, or the Lootmonger, and Shaemus, which has always been one of the most popular characters. Kind of the world's worst kept secret that it's Jack the Ripper, because I'm sorry, it's Jack the Ripper. It's their version of him, at least, anyway. And it also comes with an extra model called the White Rabbit Company. So everything's based around hats in this. This is one that I did buy a little while ago. I haven't actually opened it. It's kind of been, I've been trying to spread out when I open things rather than doing everything at once, because I keep on getting trapped underneath a pile of plastic. And if I continue to build things without painting them, that becomes a problem. So we're going to be looking at this. I will not be building this until a later date. But let's get in and have a look at the sculpts. All right. And here we are with the hats off box. As I said, we've got Som'er Jones, the White Rabbit Company, and Shaemus. On the back, we get a look at the model. The thing I really like about what Malifaux does is these are literally the sculpts. It's not a representation. This is literally the 3D sculpt. You know exactly what you're getting. So we've got a gremlin that's working with a human over here. An oddly tall gremlin. I'm wondering if this is meant to be more than one. Like maybe one standing on another's shoulders or something. I don't know. I'm just guessing. And you have a very sweet-looking Shaemus, or Sebastian Baker, that's totally not holding a knife behind his back. I love this. And then up in the top here is obviously the factions that they work for. We've got the Bayou, and we've got the Resurrectionists. All right. So we'll start with Som'er Jones. He cost you 15 points. He has 15 defense, 5 willpower. He's from the Bayou. He's got 5 movement and he's size 2. None of this should be surprising, really. If you want to read through these skills specifically, you're more than welcome to. Bayou Bash we've seen before. Hard to Wound is fairly well known. Ransack, Spot the Goods, Work Together, would ya? This one's new. When a friendly big hat model within 10 declares an action attack, another friendly big hat model within 3 of it may gain slow. If it does, the action receives a positive to its... Ooh, I like that. Especially with a faction that's going to be Horde the way it is, because you can afford that. He also comes with 12 health. On the back, again, if you want to read the specific details on this, I'm just going to be skimming over these. We've got a sack of loot. It's got a range of 1. The stat's 5, and it goes against the defense. There's no specific target number. You may remove a scheme marker within 2, and the target suffers 2, 3, or 4. If a scheme marker was removed by this action, the target suffers +1 to the damage. There is a trigger on masks and a trigger on ravens. We've also got Throw Junk, which has a 10-inch range. The stat is 5, and it has a built-in Raven. It's against defense. Again, there's no specific target number. Target suffers 2, 3, or 4 damage. And the Raven allows you to either use Aim for the Head, move the target 4 inches towards this model, then the target gains Staggered, or delay, the target gains Slow. Not really any bad there. It's just a matter of what you want to do with it. Alternatively, if you have a tome, you can drop out secrets, which gives you a scheme marker. We've also got Gremlin Raid. 10 inches, stat 6. It's got a target number of 12. I assume this is a summoning. Push the target towards a scheme marker in its line of sight. If the target is a big hat model, it may take a shooting action. Oh, so this basically, yeah, it means that you can control your guys in a different way. You got a trigger on ravens and a trigger on rams. Last but not least, the quick action is the pillage, which is 10 inches, friendly only. You can move up to 2 scheme markers within 3 of the target. For each marker removed, the target heals 1 and gains shielded +1. If 2 markers are removed this way, add a soul stone to this crew's soul stone pool. I love that. Shaemus, aka Sebastian Baker. Love the picture. I love how sleazy he looks. It's just lovely. We have 6 defense, 4 willpower. He works for the Resurrectionists. Movement 5, size 2. We got Laugh Off right behind you. Stealth, Talent Scout, and Why Hello Love. 13 health. He has the Bladed Bouquet. So there's a knife in that. There's a knife in there somewhere as well. Ranger 1, stat 6, and it's against defense. Target suffers 2, 3, or 4. Gains distracted +1. We've got a trigger on ravens and a trigger on masks. Take by the hand, 6 inches. Stat 6, it's against willpower, and it's got a target number of 11. Push the target 3 inches in any direction. Then push this model up to 3 inches towards the target. That's a quick action. And you've got a trigger on crows. In the tactical actions, we have Arise, My Sweet. 6 inches, stat 5. It's not against anything. Target number is X. So once per turn, target a corpse marker. Name a red chapel minion. The target of this action is 10 ravens plus the cost of the model named. So if the model is 2, then it means that you would need 12 plus your raven. Urban Legend. That's nicely named. This is a pulse of 6 inches, 5 stat. It's not against anything, and you've got a target number of 10. Until the end phase, after an enemy model within range gains distracted and suffers 1 damage, and there's a trigger on masks. All right, the White Rabbit Company cost you 7. It can work with either the Big Hat or Red Chapel, so it can work with either force. 5 defense, 5 willpower, 5 movement, and it's size 2. Again, you can read specific details later. Chatty, which is a pulse within 6. Innocent Bystander. Attack actions without a target number. Gain a target number of 12. Okay, so it's harder to hit him. Local Haberdashery, once per activation. You get to add a free suit. Nice. Manipulative. If this model has not yet activated, this is fairly common. We see this quite a lot. He's got 7 health. This is always worth... If you have a model that has manipulative, always want to take it into account, because it means that if you don't activate this guy until much later in the turn, they can't target him without really fighting for it. Needle and Thread. There's no range. That's interesting. Status 6 against defense. When targeting a model with staggered, this action ignores any negatives to its dual and damage flips. Target suffers 1, 2, or 4 damage. We have a trigger on ravens and a trigger on masks. Beckoning Call. Come hither. Move 12 inches. Stat 5. It's against willpower and 12. Move the target. Its movement towards a friendly model in line of sight. We've got a trigger on masks and a trigger on tomes. And then for the fast action, we've got Tailored Fit, range 6, stat 7, target number of 12, friendly big hat or red chapel model only. Push this model 3 inches towards the target. Then attach an apparel upgrade, which we will be looking at in a moment. There is a trigger of tomes. So we have a comfortable hat. Gives you the following abilities. The hat makes the man. This model's controller and the friendly models may treat this model as a scheme marker, ignoring its insignificant ability, if any. When this marker would be removed by an effect, discard this upgrade instead. That's going to be important. Torn clothing. When this model suffers any damage, it may discard this upgrade to reduce the damage suffered by 2 to a minimum of 0. Okay, yep, I'm starting to see how these are going to help. We have 3 comfortable hats, which is the limitation. We also have 3 of the Rising Star. If Shaemus is this crew's leader, increase this upgrade to plentiful. So you can use more of these if you're playing with Shaemus. You can't use 3 of them if you're not. When this upgrade is attached, the model gains slow. Model gains the following ability, Celebrity. After this model resolves an interact action, it may choose an enemy model within 6 to gain distracted. Oh, because everybody knows who you are. Nice. For me, because I'm playing Gremlins, this is going to be the important one for me. It is worth noting that you can't start with these. You do have to summon them through the White Rabbit Company. So it's worth remembering that. And for those that are wondering, these particular cards are tarot cards. So if you want somebody that likes to sleeve your cards, you need to have tarot card sized sleeves. All right. So looking at the detail on these, first and foremost, to the shock of absolutely nobody, my lord, this looks pretty. Here's our big tall guy in the back, and there's our human that's nicely sculpted, honestly. Doesn't look overly complicated to build by the look of it. The question is, it's not really obvious from the sculpt whether this is one gremlin or multiple. Looking at this sculpt though, honestly, it looks like this is just a really tall gremlin. Body's really nice. See if I can get a better look at that head. Sculpting on the face is absolutely phenomenal. On all of them, quite frankly. There is slightly softer details on the gremlin itself, but that's not something you should be surprised on because they are softer in their features. Shaemus is quite nice. I love the shirt in particular. You can actually see the ruffles and everything in the shirt. It's really, really well done. And then finally, the highlight of the pack for me, which is Som'er, because he is the reason I bought it, honestly. I probably won't use Shaemus. My housemate, however, does own Shaemus, so I might give it to him. So there we go. That's the hats off box from Malifaux. Like I said, people talk about the sculpting from Games Workshop all the time. To be fair, it's Games Workshop, so they have a 75-80% market share, which is really disappointing in some ways. Because when you're getting sculpts this good from other people, it's a shame that they're not getting a bigger market share. Malifaux is genuinely one of the best games I've ever played. It's genuinely a lot of fun, and the models, honestly, as far as hard plastic is concerned, don't know if there's anybody else in the business that has sculpts as nice. It is worth noting that some of those sculpts will be more difficult to build. Some of them are more advanced. But honestly, they're worth the time and the investment. I'd highly recommend checking out Malifaux if you haven't already.